very much enjoyed sex, and people will always say, "Oh, you can fuck like a man," which I sort of said, "Why is it fucking like a man?" Just because I can enjoy my body without having necessarily needing, to a commitment. Why is that like a man? Maybe it can just be there's other women like that, maybe. So anyway, I decided to investigate the porn industry. I wanted to understand what it was like. I wanted to, understand who these people, in particular the women, were who were working in it. So I kind of like put my sort of, put my body put myself into the industry, and I think that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the exploration of it. I met some very interesting people, some very lovely people. It's funny, like the people that work in porn. On the whole, you come across a few slightly, questionable characters, but on the whole, like everyone just felt very friendly, very open, very normal. In a way, it was very like, yeah, it's just me. It's just what I do, and or people doing it and having another job, and it was quite, the actual doing of porn is very jobby. It makes sex and everything around it very businesslike. You turn up to a shoot. You have to show your certificate that you haven't got any STIs. You have to get tested every 4 weeks. So you kind of, you meet the person you're going to be in the shoot with. Hello. Here's my certificate. Right. What we're doing today. It's called this. Okay. We're going to do these positions. This is the kind of it's very like that. It's, you've got the cameras around. As I say, my comedy bit, it's like doing a choreographed dance routine, but with your genitals. It's not just lie back and go with the flow, enjoy yourself. It's like, no, right, this position. You have to like do photos pretending to have sex. Sometimes you have to do it all over again, and you're just dry humping if it's super soft porn. So it's it's an act, it's a show. Sometimes it's a bit more naturalistic. I think nowadays the professional porn industry is, in some ways, I think not so much with queer and experimental stuff, but I think mainstream stuff, people are just looking at more amateur stuff these days. So sometimes we get told to make it look amateur, so there used to be loads of money in the porn industry, and I think it's gradually, tailing off, because anyone can upload their movie to the internet.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So so that was so I think I was mentally getting off on the fact of what I was doing, that it was very out there, it was very subversive, and I was like this character. And I think rather than getting off on the actual physicality of the sex, which was sometimes okay, and whatever, it was what it was, it was more about, actually, I'm kind of getting off on the fact that I'm doing it, and I'm finding it very interesting, and it's and it's a rebellious act. And to be like, oh, you say a woman can't enjoy a gangbang, I'm going to go and enjoy a gangbang, like this kind of thing, like a kind of wanting to just stick two fingers up to anyone that says women can't enjoy sex like a man. I mean, I still think it's crazy why people wonder why the woman isn't enjoying a gangbang. I'm like, why would the men all want to stand there and share one woman? That to me is far more bizarre than to think that one woman might want to have many men, because like if you like willies and men and having sex, and often men come a lot quicker than women as well. So to me it kind of it's funny how it's always switches. Oh, the poor woman getting fucked by all those men. I'm like, yeah, but why are all these men wanting to share one woman? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, come on, me and my 5 girls, let's just get one man back for the evening and share him. So there's so many funny, like bizarre kind of ways of thinking that I suppose I really wanted to kind of disprove or turn on their head or something. But so it was an interesting journey. I look back on it now and I think, oh, certainly I wouldn't go into it again. But for the time that I did it, it was interesting. Yeah. Um,
Ooh.
mm.
And how long would it take to film an how should I say it? Like a whole video. How long would it take for a
Um,
whole movie to be?
yeah. So I mean, it just depends. Like 2-3 hours. From
Ah,
probably from start to finish, like setting up and doing it, and then yeah. I mean, yeah. Most times, shoot times, you get there. You might do your makeup, get your clothes, get your sort of stuff set up. You got to do all the photos, then you've got to shoot it, and then you might have to, yeah, then do like some more stuff for the super soft, depending on what levels, like hard, soft, super soft. It depends what you're. Usually they have a hard camera, a soft camera. Um, so sometimes you might have to do a few bits again. It just, yeah, it depends what sort of shoot, but yeah, I mean, sometimes, they'll get you there for a day and you'll do like 3 different videos in one day and you'll do like a whole day, like sort of 6-8 hours or something. And you'll do a few different ones in a day shoot. Um, yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's quite hard work. It's quite,
yeah,
you have to look after yourself. You have to really upkeep yourself, upkeep your body, keep yourself healthy, look after yourself. Actually, if you're going to do it properly and get jobs, you need to be looking after yourself. Um,
hmm. One question I'd like to ask, because I had an actor on the podcast and he said sometimes when they're doing film scenes or if
mm,
they're in a movie, when they get rid of the actor for being rude or disrespectful to everyone around them, they say, "Oh, your cab's home, your cab's coming," and then they send you off. They don't say you're fired, but they say that. Have you
right.
seen anything like that happen?
Um, well, I mean, certainly. I think I mean, gosh, there's definite. I mean, I wasn't even aware of like these forums and chat groups and stuff of gossiping in the porn industry. I mean, gosh, I think I wasn't involved in any of it. I was a bit naive, I think, to it going on. But I had people. I'd go on a shoot and they would know me and I wouldn't even know them. But because, especially when you're new on the scene, everyone wants to know who's the new girl. So I guess producers and even fans, like super fans of porn, will be discussing you in chat in chat rooms, and I don't know what it would be nowadays. This is back in sort of 13 years ago. So I didn't even realize I had someone with my porn name and fan that was in a chat room. I was like, well, okay, this is interesting. But so people, yeah, and I think that obviously if you get a reputation for being, a bit of a bit whatever, whoever it is, that'll quickly go round, and you wouldn't get any work, or you'd get less work or whatever. So
Hmm.
I think that's, you just kind of, the work would quickly dry up. I think if you get a reputation for being, a bit, I don't know, of a diva or something. Yeah. I mean, unless you're fucking like, unless you're literally like in demand, and then maybe you can get a bit away with it as well, if you
Hmm.
start to get a big following or something.
And how did it lead into the escort world?
Yeah, so I'd finished university. My plan was to do a few more kind of porn gigs, and then I was going to go off and travel. I wanted to go to South America, but I had a freak accident with some boiling hot water and oil spilt down me, and I had third-degree burns. So I ended up actually at home at my mum's being looked after, and a lot of stuff happened with the family, finding out about the porn. It was quite a challenging time. My brother was very upset about it. It kind of came out, and he was, yeah, very, found it very difficult to handle. So so I was sort of recovering from that. And I ended up, once I was better, because I got told that I couldn't really go in the sun for a couple of years because the skin had all gone, and like on my belly, and needed time to recover before I could go in the sun. Basically, I thought, well, I better not go to South America. And I'd always loved Berlin, so I decided to move to Berlin instead. And I knew I wanted to be a tour guide, like they do these like walking tours, and I knew I wanted to do that because I love history and I loved Berlin, and I thought, yeah, I want to do that. But then while I was trained, you have to learn like 800 years of Berlin's history basically, so you have to do a lot of studying for it. And I was getting a bit low on money, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just give escorting a go because I've done porn, so can't be. Surely it's got to be easier than that in a way. So yeah, I just looked at some agencies online, sent off some photos to them, and yeah, I did. I remember I did. I did my first call with a client and had a nice chat with him, and I don't even think we had full sex. I think just some oral sex, and came home with some money and felt very okay and good about it, and that actually it felt very easy in comparison to these bloody long day porn shoots that I'd done. I didn't have to worry about any cameras. It could be very natural and very nice. And I think there was always a thing inside me of like, it never felt like it took anything away from me. And actually, as an escort, I felt like on a whole, I was just bringing some happiness to some people's lives,
Mm.
and obviously providing them with something that they felt they needed. So yeah, so I did the tour guiding, and I did many other things whilst living in Berlin. I worked in kindergartens, I worked in and did my art stuff, but sort of on and off over the 6 years I also worked as an escort. So and I would say out of the three of them, felt yeah, it sort of naturally genuinely enjoyed that one the most. I would go to all different areas of Berlin, and I would meet these people that I'd never kind of meet in my day-to-day life, find out about their lives often. Often with escorting, it's quite often a lot of talking and listening and sharing. Um, and then often there'd be like, parties in penthouses and going to nice hotels. And, that was part of the fun of it. And having another identity as well was something that I always found quite exciting, I suppose, to kind of in my personal life, some people would know me as this, and then I changed my hair a bit, I put some other clothes on, and then all of a sudden you're another person with another name, and having this very and nobody and it's kind of yeah, nobody knows. I would talk about it, but the experiences themselves and the kind of person that I would be was very separate. It was all it was almost like this little yeah. Even though I always talked about it, the experience itself is a very unique thing. So yeah. It was certainly an interesting journey. I mean, like if I look back now, I can certainly say that there was probably a sex addiction. I probably was kind of addicted to it, and certainly there were drugs that went along with my life at that time, within the work and outside of the work. I think I was just very hedonistic and very passionate and very wanting to experience the fullness of life and being very total about that. So putting myself into these circumstances and living it and experiencing it.